Good evening and welcome to the number one group of six college football show in the history of the world. This is the Group of Five Guys presented by FanDuel. If you're new here, our mission is to be the voice for the Group of Five football programs, the voice that the mainstream sports media absolutely refuses to be. We need your help to do that. Hit the follow button on all the social media platforms at Group of Five Guys. Go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Believe Network, wherever you get your best podcast. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a 5-star rating and a review. Most importantly, tell your family and friends all about us. On this episode, we're talking FanDuel win totals for the Mountain West and the Pac-12, and we're going to talk a little bit about the head coaches of those conferences and plenty more. Hope you enjoy the show. This is the Group of Five Guys, and we are coming to you live.
They got Old Dominion week 3, and ODU is by no means a layup. The Group of Five Guys told me that, so that has to be true.
We looked at each other, we was like, Mike, the best place to be is a Group of Five. So I'm sitting here with the Group of Five guys, right?
Troy has won, it's been a winner, and it's a special place, so it's why you want the job.
But it's a ton of fun to watch a guy go to the NFL from a Nevada or a Colorado State or a Middle Tennessee or an App State, and fans follow that kid.
It was across there. You want to have this thing packed out, have the student section packed out, giving those guys hell on the sideline. I mean, that's part of it. I mean,
win or lose, like we're winning the tailgate.
There's no better place to be developed in this country than Boise State.
Jeff, I'm having ring light issues again. But right now it's right in my eyes. It's ready to roll right now, but I'm having to hold the button like in the perfect spot. So I can't move a whole lot today. So forgive me if I'm not as animated as I typically am on a Wednesday night.
We got all types of technical issues going on. The countdown timer didn't work, but hey, this is just working out the kinks. Summer workouts. We'll roll into fall camp. By the time the season hits, we'll be primed and ready to go.
That's all. I mean, we got some, maybe some upgrades, if you will, to the show format a little bit. So we got to work out some kinks, but that's why we do it in July 1, Jeff.
That's right.
You can't see. There you go. There goes the ring light. So now
I'm just waiting for the Undertaker to come out when the lights go off.
We got to refocus everything. Yeah, I mean, we practice now here in July, and then when we come August, end of August, beginning of September, we'll be firing on all cylinders. The offense will have installed everything we need to install, and we'll be ready to roll. But big show tonight, talking revamped Pac-12, new Mountain West, couple new teams, a little bit of realignment, couple new coaches, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of expectations on some of the same programs, though. But Jeff, a little bit to start.
Our friends over at FanDuel, they got all the Group of Six win totals out, so they've finally been released, and now we can talk about them. Now we can start looking at which parlays we like. So it's I'm getting the itch. We talked about it the other day when we went and saw a dear friend of ours up in Nashville, and I'm starting to get the itch. I am.
I ain't no starting. I mean, you're at that time of year when the World Cup's on. And by the way, I believe the U.S., they were up 1-0 when I came upstairs into the home studio here, if you will. So shout out to the World Cup. But this is that time of year when it's like, okay, you're in the middle of baseball season, basketball, free agency, whatever. But now you don't really have anything of importance to watch. And so you start itching for football, which they'll be in camp here in a couple of weeks, most programs. But Jeff, before we get into the meat and potatoes, if you will, of the show, got to talk about, you seen this Chris Johnson news, man?
Yeah, man, it's really sad,
dude. There is, and if you haven't heard, Chris Johnson, former Titans running back, East Carolina legend, Group of Five legend, Chris Johnson, diagnosed with ALS. If you remember the Ice Bucket Challenge from a few years ago, that's what that was in reference to. Lou Gehrig's disease is ALS. Man, there's nothing harder for me to watch than when you see somebody, this could be, an athlete, it could be a relative, it could be your dad, it could be anybody. When you know of somebody at their peak, and then and you just see something like this, like Chris Johnson watching that interview with Michael Strahan the other day, you're just sad, dude. I mean, one of the best players to ever play our game at any level in the NFL, had some of the best runs, some of the best seasons ever. You think these guys are untouchable. And and then you see him to where he's having to use a computer just to speak, man. And it's just sad, man. And you pray for him and his family as they fight this thing and get through what's going to probably be some really difficult times upcoming. And I think they're starting to sort of reintroduce the ice bucket challenge, Jeff. So we may have to get involved there.
No doubt. Yeah, it's just sad all the way around. And like you said, I mean, just prayers go out to his family and all the people that are involved, and the doctors treating him, and just lay hands on all of them.
Jeff, are we allowed to discuss our Nashville journey that we had this weekend? I mean, I think everybody saw the picture. We got to hang out with G6 Josh himself, Josh Pate, on Sunday. So I know some people were upset that we, sold our soul or whatever. But look, man, I mean, my thing is this. Number one, first of all, shout out to him because he didn't have to do that. I mean, that guy's got arguably the biggest platform in college football media right now. And so just to let us hang out at all, pretty cool deal. And just, cool for us as we're trying to grow our platform and improve at our show. Obviously not the production value that you get at the studio in Nashville with what we've got going on right now with no ring lights and no countdowns and all the things. But shout out to him. And here's the deal too, dude. If you're mad about, that he's the anti-G5 guy or whatever, that's kind of how the whole thing started.
Yeah.
He sort of became the villain for the group of 5 teams or the group of 6 teams. And, look, the truth is, if you have a message to preach and you can go be with somebody that disagrees with you, I mean, that's the perfect opportunity, right? I mean, Jeff, you go to church, I go to church. I mean, you don't just go hang around with people that believe the same thing you did. Otherwise, your message wouldn't get preached or moved. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So, and like in everything we do, right? Like the goal is to just little by little, just make improvements. And honestly, like along the way, when we've been doing this, 5 years now, it's like, I went back a while and looked at our first episode. It was terrible. It was
we
so
were pretty bad.
So like every episode, every year we get a little bit better, and you just try and do that. And when you get the opportunity, like you said, Josh didn't have to do that. Like this whole crew was awesome. Shout out to Jesse, just kind of picking their brain a little bit about what works and what they do and their process. Like if we want to get to the show, like
that's right. You
got to figure it out, and you got to emulate the ones that do it and that are big.
That's right.
So appreciate Josh and the whole crew for letting us kind of just hang around. And, I knew he was a wrestling fan, huge
big time
wrestling fan. So it was
we had a
perfect.
good time.
Fit together great.
We had a good time up there. And so, again, shout out to that whole team he's got there. He's got a heck of a squad putting that show together.
Well,
there,
don't forget, Sprouse, soft verbal.
He did.
Soft
and that's
verbal,
my fault.
Soft.
It's my fault because I
flaccid verbal.
Yeah, it was as soft and verbal as it gets. But that's my fault because I didn't have any concrete days or schedules. I threw out the invite, though. For anybody that's curious, I did throw out the invite. I said, hey, look, Josh, there's going to be that week in the year when none of your P4 guys play anybody. They're playing, Mercer and Chattanooga and those things. Right. No disrespect to those programs. Some of them would be playing group of 5 schools. I'm just fine with that. No big, meaningful games. There's always that week in the season. So I threw out the invite, and he threw back a question to me that said, well, which one?
Had nothing.
Jeff and I had nothing. You know when you ask a question and you don't think you think it's gonna be like just a no right away, so you don't prepare for
That's right.
the follow-ups. That's how I was. And so we'll see. We'll see if we can't drag him out to a G6 game at some point this year. I'm sure there's a Friday night Mountain West game or Pac-12 game maybe on the docket that's in close proximity to maybe something that he's trying to go to on a Saturday. So we'll get G6 Josh live and in the flesh on campus. At some point this year, maybe not this year, maybe next, but Jeff, let's start with the Pac-12, man. The Pac-12 to me, as you look through the Pac-12, it's like they just took Oregon State and Washington State and took outside of UNLV, they probably took the biggest brands from the Mountain West and just brought them over to the Pac-12. It's a smaller conference, 8 teams, but I'm damn excited about this Pac-12, Jeff.
Yeah, honestly, I just can't wait for the season, but I'm excited to check it out. Honestly,
yeah.
and it's going to be a new look. And I'm also curious too, like who's going to be the inaugural winner of this thing? I know who's the favorite as of right now, which is the Boise State Broncos, but we'll see if they can get it done. A lot of talent, a lot of people coming back.
Yeah. And that's going to be the key, right, for Boise State is they're the favorite every year, no matter what conference they're in. They're many people's favorite to be the Group of 5 or Group of 6 CFP rep. But you're looking at the win totals, right? Brought to you by FanDuel. This is what you can get now. It took FanDuel a little while. Now, full transparency. It took them a little while to get the G6 conferences up, but they got them up this weekend. And so we've got them right here for you live. You take a look at this conference, according to FanDuel, you're looking at a bunch of 5, 6, 7 win teams, which is about standard. But then you have Boise State at 8.5. So here's the thing about Boise State, man. 8.5, initial thought, before you look at their schedule, you think, 8.5. Yeah, Boise's a 9-10 win season every year, no matter what. But then you look at this year, Jeff, and their first 2 games, you're at Oregon, and then you get Memphis coming to the blue turf. So if you don't, at minimum, split that, you're anticipating a 9-game winning streak for Boise State, and they'll be favored in most games, but 8.5, 9 wins if you start out 0-2 is damn tough. You're talking 9-1 worst case scenario, and that's with a flex game at the end of the season where you don't even know who they're going to play.
That's right. And you get it at 8.5. And this, by the way, I looked this up. This is for a full 12-game schedule. So I know that some other betting apps do it at the 11 of what is listed, but this 8.5, that 8.5 number, that is for a full 12 game, including the flex schedule. So I don't know how they don't get to it, except the fact, like I'm gonna buy the Broncos. I am. I'm gonna buy them because I think that they got so much returning. You just need really one big question mark to be the guy that I think that they need them to be. You know what? And I think Mattson, I think he is that guy. I think he's going to get it done. I think he's going to make a big leap this year, Sprouse. That's just what I think. I just have a feeling they got the running backs. They got the offensive line. They got a tight end. They're going to have a defense. Got some great returners on that side of the ball with Morgan. So why not?
Yeah. Well, I bought high on Boise State last year. I came into the season thinking, well, they bring everything back except for Genty. And they have 3 running backs now that are healthy that they didn't have to spell Genty. And I thought, oh my God, they'll be just as good, if not better, this year in 2025. And then they weren't. And I don't know how much you can chalk up to Genty not being there. There were some question marks in the play calling. There was questionable play from the quarterback with Madsen, and then he had an injury. And so I just, and then it's funny because you look at that last year and then you start preparing for this year and you're like, oh, okay, well, they're bringing back most of those same guys again. So it's just an unfortunate window for Boise that all these guys, Madsen and some of that offensive line and these other two running backs that they still got, some of that guys like that, those guys were not a year older. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That they could have been that guy when they did have Genty, because these guys had to do a lot of growing up with Genty, and that's what happened in the playoff for him. But Jeff, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know yet how good Memphis is going to be. Oregon is going to be a preseason top 5 team again. They got to go to Autzen to open the season. So you're going to find out real quick, one way or another. And you're going to find out a lot about Memphis. You're going to find out, in my opinion, you're going to find out more about Boise in that Memphis game, because what they've tended to do the last couple of years, even last year, right? They go and play Notre Dame, and they play them. They don't play great, but they play them relatively tight. It'll be, that's my test for Boise. Can they go to Oregon? I don't think they win that game. I don't, but that's fine. They'll probably keep it pretty damn close, and everybody will be back on the Boise train. And then Memphis comes to town. Now, can you produce that effort and that game plan and all of that against Memphis, which is going to be damn good? Probably not as good as Oregon, but it's going to be damn good. And that's what I don't know, Jeff. And that's where I think if you're looking at, we've been talking about the pressure on these head coaches, and Spencer Danielson, look, it's funny. How do you have pressure? You won the Mountain West 3 years in a row, right? Yeah. You have a guy, Heisman runner-up. You make the college football playoff just 2 years ago, and you almost feel like they got to me, it's like playoff or bust almost for Boise, Jeff.
I agree with you, Sprouse. That's exactly where I was going to go. And Dayton Robinson in the chat makes a really good point. He says, not having Dirk Cutter hurt the Broncos early, plus Madsen getting injured. I think that was one of the biggest keys to Boise's success was Cutter. And, say what you want to say, changing offensive coordinators, like that's a big deal, especially for a quarterback, especially when you're comfortable with somebody. So I think that was one thing that definitely went unnoticed. Now, kind of being year 2 with this, new regime, I guess if you want to call it that, but I don't know. I just think Boise, I think they're going to live up to the hype, but I agree 1,000% with the fact that it is playoff or bust. They are the favorite to win the Pac-12 this year. So if they don't do that, especially with the last 4 years, if I'm not mistaken, 10 plus wins, right?
Well, except last year.
Well, including the bowl game.
Yeah. Well, last year they lost their bowl game. I think they only won 9 last year.
That's right. It was
besides the point. But my thing is this: when we're talking about pressure on Danielson, and I told you this on the phone earlier, if what my fear for Boise State is maybe they start out 1-1, maybe they start out 0-2. Then they'll go rattle off 7 or 8 in a row, and they'll win the conference, and they'll have a 10. They'll be 10-2. They'll hit that over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They'll win the Pac-12 in the first year, but it won't be enough. Because the expectation at Boise State is not just conference titles. It's just not. And now with an 8-team conference where you're the overwhelming favorite. I mean, there's nobody they expect to win within 2 games of Boise State in this conference, according to FanDuel. So my thing is this. This is where the pressure, I think, comes in for Spencer Danielson. Even if they hang tight with Oregon, maybe they beat Memphis. But if they have, last year they were like this, and even the year with Genty, they'd win games, and you just come away from it like, man, just didn't look right, offensively especially. So my question and my thought is, if Madsen comes out and isn't leaps and bounds better than he was last year, or if there's play calling where they throw it 35 times and they got 2 horses at running back and an offensive line, and they split 20 carries between 2 guys and they throw it for 40 times. My question is there going to be pressure? Not that his job's on the line, but that he's got to make a call and he's got to make a change at quarterback or make another change at offensive coordinator. That's my question. That's where I think there's going to be pressure for him. And as it stands right now, I don't think he's that kind of guy. I think he's loyal to his guys. So that's where, let's just say you start out slow. Let's just say you start out 0-2. Let's just say you struggle against Fresno or San Diego State, or Texas State ends up being pretty damn good. Then You're gonna be talking about some pressure, Jeff.
Oh, I know it. I mean, the start of that year, like you said, is going to be a huge test for them. Because not only are you going to get Dan Lanning and the Ducks, it's going to be physical. So you got to come out of that game. Like, number one, you got to improve, but you got to stay healthy, right?
Yeah.
That's always the big challenge when you play in an Oregon or an Ohio State, or one of these, just physically different teams. And I would say Oregon is one of that. So, but I'm gonna buy the Broncos. I think they're gonna get it done. I think they'll drop Oregon, but I think they beat Memphis and they get on a little bit of a roll. And Mattson does what he needs to do. So I think they get over 8.5. I really do.
I think they'll get over 8.5. My fear is it's 9, and it's.
Oh, you want your money if it's 9.
I ain't worried about winning the money. I'm worried about going to the college football playoff and maybe winning a game or two. That's what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about winning money here, Jeff.
Huh?
Anyway, we got to move on. Colorado State's at 3.5 with Jim Mora coming in year 1. That's interesting.
It's very interesting. Sprouse, and I'm looking at their schedule here. Wyoming, Southern Utah. Like, there's so much. Like,
too many unknowns.
But what if? I mean, Mora had them rolling. You know what I mean? So, like,
UConn has been good for a few years.
That's what I'm saying. So if you can somehow flip that roster relatively quick, and you rattle off 2 to start the year, and you go 2-0, you're going to get BYU. That's going to be tough. At UTSA and the Alamo Dome. You know how tough that is. And then you get into Oregon State. I don't know. A lot of people, everybody on the internets and in the books don't like Oregon State. So I don't know. 3.5 it seems like a manageable number.
They like Oregon State better than they like Colorado State.
Well, they do, but Mora, man, I love Mora. I think he's a hell of a coach. I really do.
I do too. What was it, 2 or 3 years ago when we watched UConn played somebody like a power opponent that they had no business, according to Vegas and all the and fans and whatnot, being in the, and they had a running back. They were just going off. I think they lost that game. I might be totally making this up, Jeff, but I think it was me, you, and Jesse. I think we're sitting there watching it. We were like, well, hot damn, dude. Or UConn's pretty damn good. And then they ended up losing every other game, I think, the rest of the year. But they played everybody tight. And then last year they were damn good. They were one of those teams from the Northeast that was rolling.
Yeah.
But I know you like Fresno, Jeff. You always like Fresno.
I know. I'm a bit of a Fresno homer, just being a Bay Area guy, and then just Tedford being there for so long was like just a QB guru out in California. So no, I think Matt Entz, I think what he's going to do in this year is going to be a huge improvement. I think they were right there last year. A lot of people didn't expect much. I would say he exceeded expectations. So I'm just looking for a big jump this year by the Bulldogs. And, I like that number too. I really do.
Yeah. Oregon State, you're right. I mean, they are, according to Vegas, according to all the preview magazines, they're not supposed to be very good. But
which by the way, they don't know anything either.
No, dude, they don't know. I mean, nobody knows. You can't predict anything with a whole. You got an entire new conference, number one. So that's going to play a factor right there. You got teams that they're familiar. I get it. Washington State and Oregon State have been playing these Mountain West teams for quite a while. But you get some new teams like Texas State coming in, and you just don't know how they're going to match up, man. It's matchups. But they got a quarterback, don't they, Oregon State? And Malik Murphy still there?
Got to check on
that. Jeff, that's going to be the question mark. I know we're about to get into San Diego State. We're about to get into Texas State a little bit, but that's the question mark across the group of six, across college football in general, is if you got a quarterback, we just talked about Boise State forever. All the pieces are there. You even think that you have a quarterback, but how many times have we seen you even go at the highest of the high, right? Texas was supposed to be all world last year, and then it turned out Arch Manning wasn't as good as everybody thought he was going to be.
Yep.
He might now again. He's coming back this year. All the hype again. The Heisman favorite, maybe. So whichever team has the quarterback that actually makes the jump and actually improves on what they were last year, or lives up to their recruiting hype, or lives up to the preseason hype, that's going to be the team. And we look at somebody like San Diego State and with Sean Lewis. I mean, they were pretty damn good last year. And I know was a San Diego State fan that calls in every week. Mike,
oh, he's awesome. I can't
remember his name.
Slipping my mind right now.
But and he had him pretty much pinned, man. Their schedule was light. up front, and they won a bunch of games, and they started playing some harder teams. But for them, it's all about the quarterback. Is Denegal going to be the guy? I don't know. They'll be good on defense. They'll be able to run the ball. Sean Lewis is a great mind. Can they play quarterback?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Sprouse's number is a bit high. I do. I mean, obviously, you're going to get a win at Portland State. On the road at UCLA, obviously. Who a lot of people are, it's, the G6 head coach thing. That's going to be the next wave, I feel like, especially after Cignetti winning the national championship. But you got to go on the road at UCLA. And you get James Madison at home. I know they're coming across the country. But again, like, JMU's not just going to be a slouch, right?
Yeah.
On the road at Toledo, again, new coach, new program, but you got to go across the country. And then Texas State. I just think their schedule is twice as difficult, if not 3 times as it was a year ago.
Yeah.
And I don't see
7.5.
7.5. Just seems high. And this is not including the flex game.
Well, when you look at them and they're 7.5, right? It's, to me, like when we talked about Boise's 8.5, it's like, well, Oregon's going to be pretty damn good. Memphis is going to be pretty damn good. So they're going to have to either win one of those or they're going to have to win the rest of them. For San Diego State, my question is like, well, how good is James Madison going to be? How good is Texas State going to be? Because those are some unknowns that you anticipate a bit of a drop off for a team like James Madison, but maybe not. Right? I mean, they might come back and be James Madison of last year again. And then you're talking about like if you knew.
Had an internet problem. I know where I was going to go. And we're going to hit Texas State next, but I just think that with their schedule, San Diego State at 7.5, that's just, to me, that's just too much. Especially, he was question marks about Texas State. I've been high on the Bobcats for the last couple of years. And quarterbacks in this day and age, if you got one, you're going to win ball games. And Texas State has a great young quarterback in Brad Jackson. He had some hiccups a year ago. I know that. But I think he's going to make a huge jump this year. I really do. And when you look at their schedule, let me get this pulled up here for you boys. Hold on 1 second. All right. There we go. All right. I know they start off in the beginning of the year against Texas. Going to be a tough matchup. They're going to get beat up. Same kind of question we said a little bit ago. The physicality of that game, that is going to be a tough matchup. But UTSA, again, another tough matchup. But when you get down into it, North Texas, Incarnate Word, I see a couple wins there. Colorado State, Utah State, like the middle of their schedule is very, very manageable for the Bobcats. So I think they can get the meat and potatoes of that middle schedule until you get back again to the late of it. I think they can make a run, and I like that number. I do. They are at 6.5. I see them a 7-8 win ball club this year. I really do. As long as Jackson stays healthy, he's a dual threat type of player. If he can stay on the field, I like the Bobcats at 6.5. All right. Let's get back to. All right. Next up, we had Utah State at 5.5. Not a huge fan of that number. I think the Aggies, I love what Mendenhall can do. He's a great coach. I think their schedule is pretty rough. So I'm not buying that 5.5. I think they probably get about 4 or 5 wins on that schedule. Not my favorite number there. And then Washington State, again, a lot of unknowns about Washington State. Obviously, FanDuel's got them at 5.5 as well. I think that's right on that number is pretty accurate. I could see them with 6 wins. I just find it hard to believe that Washington State, I just think that with as much history as that program has had of great offenses, that they're not going to be able to put up numbers. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. Browse, we get you back?
Jeff, I think so, man. I don't know. I'm pretty sure my power went out for a second there because everything went out. Wi-Fi, internet, and I'm plugged in. So I don't know what happened. But
let's get you back here.
You already hit the rest of
No, I was just talking about Washington State.
Did you already talk about Texas State, Jeff, while I was on a little hiatus?
I'm high on them. I think they go over that number at 6.5, and I'm a big Brad Jackson fan. I just think he's electric, and I think he's going to make a huge jump in G.J. Kinney's offense.
Here's my fear with Texas State, Jeff. We're going to find out a whole lot about Texas State immediately into the season. I mean, you talk about the first 3 weeks. Their first 5 games. I mean, we'll see how North Texas is, but Texas State could be 1-4 to start the season.
I'm not buying that.
Now, here's the thing, Jeff. They also could be 4-1. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, if they start 4-1 or even 3-2, you'll be 6-1 or 5-2 with a Halloween night showdown at Boise State. If they start out and at least split those first 5 or 6 games. But you're right. I like Brad Jackson. It seems like they have the quarterback. So we shall see. We need to get in the Mountain West. There's no telling when my power might go out again, Jeff, but it's going to be – I'll tell you what, I want to go ahead and apologize now here on July 1st, 2026, about the amount of times that I'm going to screw up which conference all these teams are in. Because I'm sitting here thinking – I'm just looking at my notes, and I'm like, moving on to the Mountain West. We just talked about the Mountain West. It's damn Pac-12, Jeff. You talk about the new Mountain West. If you are one of the, it almost reminds me of Conference USA when they started getting all the new teams in. And we sat here and we said, if you're Middle Tennessee or you're Western Kentucky, you better do it now because these teams are coming. And unfortunately for our Blue Raiders, especially, but those teams came. And they came quick. And they won some conferences immediately. So, I look at this Mountain West and I look at these win totals. I look at all these teams and I'm looking at UNLV and I'm thinking like, your arch nemesis is gone. So like, if you don't do it now, North Dakota State's coming. You know what I'm saying?
Hell, they might be ready.
They might be ready.
Year
already.
one, Sprouse.
They might be ready already, Jeff. But let's take a look at UNLV a little bit. Dan Mullen. I don't know if Dan Mullen. I'd love to talk to Dan Mullen and see, like, off the record, like what is he thinking? Is he a UNLV long-term guy? Does he even want any part of going back to the SEC or the Big Ten or anything like that? But I gotta tell you, Jeff, can I give a shout out? This is a Pac-12 and Mountain West show. Can I give a shout out to the Memphis Tigers?
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are going on the road to UNLV and Boise in the first 3 weeks of the season. So Memphis is like, dude, if Memphis comes out of there and wins early, I mean, you're talking about the high favorite to make the CFP out of the group of 6.
Without question.
But also they could lose both of those. So, but we're also going to find out about UNLV, Jeff.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at their schedule, like you stated, Memphis at home, I think they get that win. Huff did a great job at Southern Miss a year ago. Now he's got more resources at Memphis for sure. I just think that Dan Mullen's going to bring back just more continuity. And I think to start right off the rip, I think they get that done. Now, they do have to go out to Hawaii in week 2, which I'm going to tell you, I am all on the Rainbow Warriors this year. I was high on them last year. I thought they had a great season, a couple hiccups here and there. But yeah, at 8, what are they at? 8.5 UNLV?
Mm-hmm.
I think they can get that. I think the Cal, North Dakota State, Air Force stretch, I think that is a really difficult stretch that people probably are overlooking. If they can get through that 2 and 3, because I think Air Force is going to be much improved from a year ago.
I do too.
So
I'm always on the Air Force bandwagon, but they are
bringing back quarterback.
They are a veteran-led team with the academies. They're going to be I'm telling you, they're going to be the teams when they have 20 seniors out of 22 starters, something like that. That's when you know they're going to be good. I haven't looked as much into Air Force to that level yet, but I know they got a bunch of vets coming. I know it'll be a veteran team, so they'll be much. And they don't have down years, typically back to back. But you like Hawaii, That's Hawaii, dude. It's like you always like Fresno State and Hawaii, and now they're in two different. They're in two different conferences, so now you can pick them both to win. It's amazing.
Sprouse, it's my childhood. I think that's really was. Colt Brennan was my favorite quarterback. Yeah. Jeff Tedford, the Carr brothers at Fresno State. It's just hard for me to not like him. No, but I just like the way their schedule sets up. I really do. At Stanford, I think they can win that game. UNLV, like I said, I think it's going to be tough, but I think they can give UNLV a run for their money. Then you go to New Mexico State, Wyoming, San Jose State. You could rip off 3 wins right there. And if you get one at the top of the between those first 1 and 2 games, you're sitting at 4-1 right now. Going into the rest of your schedule, they have New Mexico on there. They got NIU on there. They got UTEP on there. Like, I don't know. I see. What are they at? They're at 7.5. I think they're an 8-9 win ball club.
I'll tell you what, when you look at all of these teams, a key metric, and I'm not a betting expert by any means, but when you look at teams that are 7.5, 8.5, and they have a Power 4 opponent week 1, you got to look at if they realistically can beat that team. Hawaii ain't no realistically can beat Stanford. They're going to beat Stanford.
Yeah.
Okay. They did last year. And if they can keep the quarterback healthy, that's the thing. If you can start with a win that you're probably like the odds makers are probably not expecting you to get, that's a great start. And then it allows you for a slip up maybe later in the year. It allows you that little extra cushion. Now in Nevada, 4.5, it's gonna be tough. Colin Kaepernick ain't coming through the door, Jeff.
No, he's not.
But you mentioned, when you're talking Hawaii, you mentioned New Mexico as like you could almost bypass New Mexico.
No.
Vegas is high.
They are
high on the Lobos. I'll tell you, did you see that Jason Eck, the Sopranos skit?
It was phenomenal.
I mean, their social team is rolling right now.
Really good stuff.
And he is embracing it, and his family is embracing it. And guys, you want the recipe to how to get your community involved?
That's right.
Just go look at what they're doing at New Mexico right now. And it's not hard. You know what I'm saying? They're not doing anything it's creative, sure, but it's not like they're not doing any difficult tasks.
Well, I believe it was his daughter's idea, if I'm not mistaken, or his wife's. I can't remember. He said it in an interview, and I was like, you know what? That's when you have the entire family just bought in. You have somebody who's in tune, really with just entertainment, movies, whether it's wrestling, whatever. I love when people do creative callbacks to great shows or sports entertainment or whatever. I just think it's awesome. So yeah, no, I didn't mean to. I did kind of bypass Lobos. Yeah. I didn't mean to, because I think they're going to be one of the top teams and should
8.5
be competing.
is tough though, Jeff.
It is. It's very tough.
And at the same token, where I just said you got to look out for that P4 game that they can potentially win, you also got to look out for that sneaky non-conference game in week 1 against Central Michigan.
They're going to be ready.
That everybody thinks you're going to landslide that. Just be careful, because in the opposite way, if you lose that game, now you're in trouble. Now you're in trouble at your 8.5. But I absolutely love that week 1 game. Central Michigan, New Mexico, 2 coaches that I like. It seems like they're both pretty similar.
Kind of cut from the same cloth.
And unfortunately, I don't know that we're going to have either of them in the group of 6 much longer, pending success again this year for either one of them. Jeff, North Dakota State, year 1. They are allowed to play for the title. They're allowed to play in the postseason. I know the Dukes fans are probably upset, and rightfully so. And I think, here's the thing. Here's why I think the James Madison fans should be upset here. And we are a part of this problem, Jeff. It's not that they should be upset because they didn't get a chance to, and North Dakota State does get a chance to. It's that they got not roasted, but they kind of got crushed for even asking for an exception when they ended up being good. So, anyway, though, first year in the conference, I don't think there's a ton of pressure on them outside of the fact that it's North Dakota State and they win. And so that's the expectation. And so you have to win. I'll tell you what, dude, week 0, Jacksonville State coming to town.
Great game.
Jeff, you know it and I know it.
Absolute banger of a game.
Man, you know it and I know it. As alumnus of Middle Tennessee, and as a warning to the Jacksonville State faithful, the last thing that you want to do is be the home opener for a dominant FCS program in their first FBS game. I mean, we knew Middle was going to have a tough time at James Madison in the spring leading up to that season, and so did the coaching staff. So if you're Jacksonville State, is like, and then you got to travel that far too.
Yeah,
and then you got to go play in the dome there. I mean, whoo! But what a game should be an awesome week 0. I mean, that is a must watch ball game there.
No doubt. If
anybody knew of a cheap flight to North Dakota, I'd go.
Yeah, where do you fly in North Dakota? What's the biggest airport?
Fargo.
I mean, gotta be, right?
Gotta be, right?
I don't think so.
Somebody help us out here. We're southeastern guys, okay? So help us out here. We don't get out. That's when you get over there in the Montana, the Dakotas. That's where, like, have you ever been on a company's website and you search for locations and there's just like a dot where every location of the company is, and there's thousands of them in Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, everywhere, and then there's one in like the entire region of Montana. That's what we're dealing with. I don't know. Got to be Fargo. I mean, right?
100%. I don't know.
Anyway.
That's one state I don't know, like, the geography very well of is North Dakota. I know Fargo, and that's probably about it.
I don't know.
I
don't know. I know they got a damn good football team, and I know that it's going to be absolutely cracking in that dome when Jacksonville State comes to town. What's their? I don't have it in front of me. What's their over under?
8.5. 8.5. Just a lot.
It's a lot.
I think they can do it though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that first one's huge for that 8.5 number. I'm gonna be honest with you, but you get it at home, and like you said, to open it up. So I think they get there. I do. I realistically, I mean, I see at least 7 that they absolutely should win, but you just also never know. Never know with the team coming up. Are they the James Madison going to come straight out of the gate?
Just rolling immediately, yeah.
No, we'll see.
I mean, has anybody not been good right away? There's more of them have been good than not good. I mean, Sam Houston, but their first year they were better. They were good.
I think they were competing for a title.
Were they? But they weren't allowed to, though.
I know, but they were at the top, of the conference.
I think you're right. I mean, you look at Jack State, you look at Kennesaw, James Madison, then you go back to App and Georgia Southern. They both came in, started winning the Sun Belt right away.
Yeah.
I mean, and North Dakota State is arguably, as an FCS program, better than any of them.
Yeah.
So that should be interesting. I tell you what, Northern Illinois, as kind of the odd member of the Mountain West, first of all, it's going to be super weird seeing them in this conference.
Very odd.
Number one. They got an interesting non-conference, but I mean, I think it's going to be rough sledding for the Huskies, Jeff.
I do too, unfortunately. And I like the Huskies.
I like the Huskies. I like old DeKalb, Illinois. They got a sports bar across the street from campus. Fat Boys or something? Fatties? Looks phenomenal.
I think the big question for them is looking at their schedule. Georgia State, you got to win that.
Got to.
Wyoming is a game that you got to have if you want to get to that 3.5 number. Nevada's got to be a game, and UTEP. I think those are their 4 best chances, probably.
Yeah.
To clear that 3.5 number.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they got a chance at it, Jeff. It's just like you can't
slip up on the game.
You got to win all your 50-50s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to win all of them or hope that you have a major upset against somebody.
I just think that they're going to have to be able to throw the ball in this conference a lot more efficient than they have in years past. So if they can do that, I see it. Is the travel going to affect them? That's another question.
Yeah, there's going to be some matchups where you get these NIU, like you get that style of play. I mean, the Mountain West has always been like that, where you get these high-powered West Coast offenses, but then you get the Air Force Academy that's going to run it. Like, it's going to be interesting to see the matchups for what NIU is going to want to do versus most of these Mountain West teams that want to, throw it all over the place. But I don't know. San Jose State, you always like them too, Jeff.
I do. That's more of a homer thing.
Another one.
I don't know. I mean, I was closest.
Jeff, I'm the same. I like all the Florida schools. I get it.
I was closest to San Jose State than any of them. I mean, that's 40 minutes down the interstate there. So,
did you ever almost go there?
I mean, I sent my stuff there, but they never hollered back.
No response.
Wasn't good enough for the Spartans.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. It's all right. Went the JUCO route. Found my way to Middle Tennessee.
Yes, you did, Jeff.
No problem.
What do you think about their number?
I'm always, my opinion, I'm always way higher on the Spartans than they actually end up being. So I think the number is like super accurate. Now, can they live up to the expectations? They can, but they got to do it.
Yeah.
But I love what Niumatalolo is doing over there. I do. Bringing all the polys, getting all the polys in there. You got to get those guys on the offensive, defensive line. Then you can be able to move some bodies.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they'll be better, and I trust him.
I do,
and so that's where you kind of expect winning, and you expect them to be a little bit better, build that program back up. But yeah, you're right though. They've been the past couple of years where it's like they'll win some games where they look phenomenal, and then they'll lose one, and you just can't quite put your finger on it.
Well, and last year you had the quarterback. Situation where it just went back and forth. Who was the guy? I don't know. It just, I hate a 2-quarterback system. You gotta have one. Can they find one? That's really, I think, the biggest question mark for them.
Yeah. Last but not least, Wyoming, the team that always screws up somebody's season.
You're leaving another one out too, Sprouse. UTEP.
I'm leaving UTEP out. I told you. I thought I had them in Conference USA still. Well, UTEP, listen, they got new uniforms. I saw came out, but I like Scotty Walden.
I did too.
We had him on the show. I think he's an energetic guy. I think he does a hell of a job trying to get out in El Paso and get that community behind him. But you've got to. I mean, when we talk about pressure, like you got to see some improvement if you're UTEP. Got to.
Yeah, I think that seat's pretty warm, Sprouse. I do, and I hate that because I agree with you.
Yeah,
I think Coach Walden did a great job at Austin. He was at Austin P before that, wasn't he? Yeah, Austin P, and just hadn't quite materialized down there yet. But maybe this year 3.
Yeah, year 3 is always kind of the measuring stick year. You've had time to recruit and build the program up and build the culture. They do some stuff I feel like might be a little gimmicky. But everybody does stuff that's gimmicky.
Yeah.
And if you win, your gimmicky stuff is cool.
Yeah. That's
if
exactly.
Listen, if you win, the turnover chain is the most badass thing you've ever had. If you lose, it's the stupidest freaking prop. So now everybody does a prop. So it's like if you're winning, dude, slam dunking the ball on the mini hoop is cool. If you're losing, putting the heavyweight championship belt looks ridiculous. So, but UTEP, I think, and like because he's such a young guy, I almost feel like it's a shorter leash for him. I really do. And I'm rooting for UTEP though. But that being said, I root for the Dolphins, and that don't mean I think they're going to win.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Wyoming. Back to them. Wore the hat today. It's my favorite hat. The game hats. Check them out. They got everybody on there. What's Wyoming's number, Jeff?
5.5.
It's tough.
It's a tough number, but they can get it done. We just got to see improvement in the pass game, I think, with them. Colorado State, you got to win that one. They're on the road there in Fort Collins to start the year. You get Northern Colorado after that. That's going to give you 2 if you can go get those done. Now, can you go on the road to Central Michigan and get that one done? I don't know. I think that's going to be a tough matchup. I'm going to say they drop that one. They do get Hawaii at home. Hawaii is not the same team when they're off the island. But I think Hawaii is good enough to beat Wyoming, in my opinion. Then you go, so you go, this is the tough stretch. You go Hawaii, at North Dakota State, come to the Bay Area and take on San Jose State. If you can get Colorado State, Northern Colorado, San Jose, NIU, you just got to get one more in UConn. But I think Jason Candle, great coach. What is he going to be like in year one? What's left in the cupboard after Mora leaves? And you got UTEP. So I think it could very well come down to that Utah or UConn game. UConn or Air Force, I think, are probably the two swing games to get either 6 or 5.
Dude, man, and there's so many unknowns. That's why, like, it's so tough. It's so tough to. Let me ask you this question, Jeff. You're closer to Brennan Sorsby than I am. As a better,
I'm a gambler.
as a gambling addict in recovery.
Why, I'm a gambler and I lose a lot. Is that why?
Yeah. Do you like taking the over on like a Boise, like where it's 8.5, or do you like if you find somebody with a 3.5 where you're like, all you've got to do is win a couple of these damn. What do you like here?
You can't really pick one, like that where it's like I'm going to pick the low numbers and go over, or pick a high number. It really comes down to the team, who they have, who they play when. Like, you really got to dive in and look at everything. And after we do our conference previews, we're going to dive deep in every single team, look at their entire roster, look at their schedule. Like, that's where we're going to get into the nitty gritty of everything, which has been going on some, but we're not quite there yet. But I think in August is when we're going to release those. We'll be looking at our futures parlay, win totals, stuff like that. I got burned last year because I had a couple teams, the old alma mater included. I was like, they're going to get 4 wins. They're going to get that. That's easy money.
And then what happened, Jeff? They lost to Austin Peay.
I know.
They lost the one game that you thought was a guarantee. They had one guarantee on the schedule, and they lost it. And then they hit the under.
I think it was actually 3.5, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember a year ago. But yeah, you really just got to not bet with your heart. Look at the facts. Look at who they got. You can't account for injuries, but you just got to go with what you think.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, we got a couple of voicemails.
We do.
Before we say goodbye and enjoy the 4th of July, 615-900-4286 is the hotline. We got 2 of them, Jeff.
We do.
Let's see what we got.
Hey, guys, this is Stephen Vitt, and just want to let you guys know that you guys are doing a great job with your show. I always try to listen in when I can. But I want to get your thoughts on this. It's only speculation at the moment, but it's been reported that supposedly the Pac-12 may be interested in negotiating with the likes of Ohio University and the University of Toledo to bring them into their conference as football-only members. We're not far along into that, but that's the speculation. That's the chatter behind the curtain, so to speak. So yeah, I want to get your guys' thoughts on that. Conference realignment never sleeps, apparently, until the government gets involved. So yeah, anyway, thanks for all you do, guys, and contact me when you can. Stephen Vitz, well, thank you.
What you got, Sprouse?
Well, Jeff, I mean, honestly, nothing makes more sense than bringing a couple of teams from the state of Ohio into the Pacific 12 Conference. I mean, why can we not? Hey, there's a team in Sacramento that just joined the Mid-American Conference. Why wouldn't we put them in the Pacific Conference?
Makes too much sense.
I mean, now, aside from geography and total sense, I hate to see the MAC get dismantled because I love the MAC. I think the MAC and the Sun Belt are like the most traditional conferences and regional. Like, I mean, when the MAC right now, it's like every team is in Michigan or Ohio for the most part. So it's like, but I get it. It'd be another, couple of decent brands, Toledo, Ohio.
I hope not. I'm not.
And
I don't think that's good for anybody. And I'm with you. There's nothing better than Tuesday night action. If the MAC somehow happens to go away, like you're talking about an institution of college football. We got to stop
Jeff,
it.
you know who it would be good for? Us, our brand.
Oh, why?
Because everybody's questioning, are you going to change it to the group of 6 guys? Are you going to do this? No, because we ain't done. If we change it to group of 6, we might have to change it to the group of 7 later. Or if the MAC gets dismantled, we'll be right back at 5. So I don't know, man. I mean, speculation. It is what it is. What I could see happening before I see the MAC getting dismantled, though, Jeff, if something like that happens, then you go back to the rumor 2-3 years ago with Western Kentucky and Middle Tennessee.
That's right.
Going up to the MAC or something like that. I could see that happening and Conference USA sort of taking the hit.
Maybe. It's all about the TV deal.
What else we got? Thanks for the call, Steven.
Group of 5 guys. It has been a minute. It is Cody from Memphis calling back. I've been lurking in the shadows. I'm getting caught up. I listened to your American preview talking about some of the pressure that may or may not be on the coaches there. I think you guys are pretty spot on that everybody in the 901 was excited to see Ryan Silverfield go. It was a mixed bag. The reception there on Charles Huff when that hire was announced. But I think Huff has done so much with the public relations part of it that he's won a lot of people over. I would include myself in that. And you guys kind of alluded to this. I think he's proven he's going to jump from job to job when success allows him to. And so I know that I call in as Cody from Memphis, but I'm living in Starkville now. I'm down here in the shadows of Davis Wade Stadium and the Bulldogs. And like my boy Jersey Jerry used to have his segment of signs. Consider this your sign. On June the 25th, half Christmas, if you will, that I called in and I told you that Charles Huff, as long as he has success at Memphis, he will be the next head coach at Mississippi State. He's got time. I'm calling it. Bookmark it. You heard it here first. Either way, excited for Memphis. I do think there's fan pressure. I don't think there's admin pressure, but I do think Charles Huff could be gone from Memphis in 2 years. And if that's the case, I'm fine with it because that means that Memphis had a hell of a run for 2 years. Either way, go Tigers. Hey, you guys come out to Las Vegas for Memphis and UNLV to open season in week 0. I'll see you there.
You just tell me where to sign, Cody. Give me a craps table in college football.
Week 0, too. Let's look at week 0, Jeff. There's nothing really in close proximity to us. Now you've got Jacksonville State, or is that week 1 going to North Dakota State, or is that week 0? I think it's week 1, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to look at it.
Yeah, Memphis, UNLV.
Calling a shot. Mississippi State, next landing spot for Charles Huff.
Dude, and I mean, yeah, probably.
Maybe.
Where was he at before he went to Marshall? He was, I think, like the running backs coach at Bama, I believe. I know he's part of the Saban tree.
I'll look it up.
But I don't really know where he was at before then. Yeah, man. I mean, look, like we said, like the guy has won. I mean, he took Southern Miss from.
He was at Bama before Marshall.
Yeah.
Penn State
where was he?
Before that.
So he's going to want to get back. Where did he?
2018, he was the assistant at Mississippi State.
Where did he play? Where did he go to school?
Now you really that's me.
No, hold on now. Tell you a lot about a man where he graduated from.
Hampton. Fullback, tight end, guard, center is what his listed positions are.
That's old school right there, bro. That's old school. Fullback, tight end, guard. Oh man,
so good.
That's great stuff. Yeah, dude, I would buy that. He's the next head coach at Mississippi State, and I don't think there's any reason to doubt that either this year or next year or both, more than likely both, that they're a 10-win team. You know, 9 at least.
Should be, especially with all of the, departures like we stated with South, Golish leaving, just some are all going to Florida. Like there's strike while the iron's hot.
That's right.
Everybody's going on transition. I know Memphis is going through the same transition, but he's been known to flip a roster quick and go on a run.
Yeah, but the Memphis transition is different because they didn't like the guy they had anyway.
True.
And I don't know. Now, that being said, you look at South Florida, they may have upgraded too,
Yeah.
But you got to figure Tulane drops a little bit. Even if you like Will Hall, they're a CFP team last year. You know what I'm saying? So unlikely that they're back in the CFP. And so you got to think they won't be as good. And then
I just think Hartline, again, never been a head coach. Huff's done it at several spots.
Very true.
So there's just something to my experience, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to ask me who's going to flip it quicker, I'm going to go with Huff, put my money on him. But that doesn't mean that South Florida can't.
And here's the other thing too about Huff, and I don't know him well. I mean, we've talked to some of his assistant coaches, we've talked to some people, but to me, as opposed to Silverfield, he just fits Memphis better.
Agreed.
He just he doesn't care. He almost embraces that. Dude, the guy won the conference at Marshall, and everybody they hated him, and he doesn't care because all he's about is ball, and all he's about is winning.
That's it.
He doesn't care what the community necessarily thinks. I know Cody said he's building, he's doing great in the community, but for now, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he doesn't care, and who cares if you go win? It doesn't matter anyway. So,
winning solves a lot of problems.
Cody was living in Starkville, I think, when I saw him at the Memphis South Florida game, which, that game, I can't believe. When him and I were talking, it was over with. South Florida had that thing in the bag. Jeff, I was getting ready to text you, my wife, and your wife and say, get ready, we're going to Tampa, going to the beach in December. And then all of a sudden, you just get an ultimate collapse or come back on whichever side of the fence you're on. Memphis wins that game, and the rest is history. But, hey, look, appreciate everybody watching and listening. We do apologize for the multitude of technical difficulties, but we'll get those kinks worked out. I will get a new ring light. I will probably get an entire new office and studio space before the next time we get up here because I'm having a hard time with a lot of my plugins and my outlets and stuff like that. But we appreciate you all watching and listening. If you like the show or if you don't, still make sure you follow us on all the social media platforms at Group of Five Guys. Go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Believe Network, wherever you get your best podcasts. Subscribe to the channel, leave a 5-star rating and a review. It's Group of Five Guys presented by FanDuel. Have a great, safe 4th of July. We're out of here.